All right, guys, so exciting stuff. Something just arrived from Canon, and it is the, if I can open it, the 85mm F1.4 IS. I am super excited to test this lens out, and if you want to find out how you can borrow lenses from Canon and test them out yourself, then stick around to the end of the video and I'll show you just how you can do this. Now, there's also another lens in here that I'm testing out, but if you want to find out more about that, I'll leave a link up here so you can go check that out. But let's go out and start shooting with the 85mm and let's test it out, see what it's capable of. So the reason that I wanted to test out the 85mm F1.4 L IS is that 85mm is such a good focal length, and the bokeh and compression that it produces is just absolutely second to none. The 85mm F1.8 that I currently own is an absolute amazing lens for the price, but not having stabilization and not owning a camera that has IBIS means that I don't use it as much as I would like to. Shooting at 85mm handheld can be an absolute nightmare, so the new 85mm with image stabilization has fixed that problem. All the shots you just saw were all shot handheld. If we compare it to not shooting with image stabilization, the difference is just absolutely insane. Now, it's not 100% stable, but it takes away all these little micro jitters and it gives it that kind of like handheld feel as if you were shooting on a wide angle lens like say a 24 or 35mm. The stabilization on this lens is 4 stops, and in photography as a general rule of thumb, we never really shoot below 1 over the focal length of the lens. So for instance, on this, you wouldn't generally shoot below 1 over 80 or 1 over 85. But with 4 stops of stabilization, we should technically be able to shoot at 1/5 of a second and still have sharp images. And in the test shots I did, it looked pretty good. I even tested it at 5 stops, and although it's not perfect, if you compare it between the IS off to the IS on, the difference is absolutely day and night. But essentially what this means for videos is that more stops of stabilization means smoother handheld footage. And that is exactly how I was able to shoot all those shots handheld at the start of this video. And then also if you combine it with something like digital IS on the EOS R, it makes it even better. The f1.4 aperture means that you get 2/3 of a stop more light than the 1.8 version, and being a newer lens, the optics are also improved. Now the build quality is insane. This thing is a freaking tank. But at nearly double the weight of the f1.8 version, you do notice that extra weight when you are shooting. Honestly, I feel like you could use this as some sort of self-defense weapon, knock some people out, but the barrel is also a lot bigger and it's a lot nicer to hold. One of the main things I don't like about the f1.8 version is the size of it. Like, it's just a little bit too small, whereas the f1.4 version, it's a bit chunkier and it just fits real nice in your hand. Now, it still only has a minimum focusing distance of 85 centimeters, but honestly, you'll be using this for more like portraits or shooting things at a distance. Because the f1.4, when shooting at the minimum focusing distance, the focal plane is just razor thin. The focusing on this lens is insanely fast when shooting stills. However, I did run into a couple of problems when shooting on video at f1.4. But honestly, most of the lens I've tested when stopped down that much struggled to keep focus because again, the focal plane is so thin and even the tiniest micro movement has to adjust for that focus. But if we check out this shot I got of the Mavic Air, it locked focus super quick and it held it the whole way through. And you can also see the absolute insane bokeh this thing produces. Now in terms of actually shooting on this lens, I have absolutely loved it. The image stabilization is the reason you would upgrade to the f1.4 version, and it performs just as good as you can imagine. And there are very few lenses that have such a large aperture and also have image stabilization built in as well. As a handheld B-roll lens, it works absolutely perfectly, but would probably recommend it to say like wedding photographers and videographers because they always shoot in those low light conditions. However, all this amazing technology does come with a price tag, and at $22.99 Australian dollars, it is a big step up from the f1.8 version, which you can pick up for around a quarter of the price. But on the other hand, it is cheaper than the f1.2 version, and honestly, I preferred shooting on the f1.4 version. The f1.2 is just a little bit old and a little bit clunky. Now personally, I would absolutely love to have only L series lenses, only the best glass, only cinema lenses in my kit, but because I very rarely shoot on the 85mm and the price jump is so big, I will be sticking with the 1.8 version for now anyway. If you did enjoy this review, then consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to find out how to test out some Canon lenses and cameras yourself, see if they're right for you, then let's talk about Canon Professional Services. Now this video is not sponsored by them in any way. I just love the service and I tell all my mates about it, so I figured I'd tell you guys about it too. CPS offers professionals the support they need, and if you meet the criteria, you get access to a bunch of awesome benefits like trialing lenses and cameras, free sensor cleans, and discounts on repairs. If you want to find out more, then I'll leave a link down below so you can check it out yourself. And as always, stay creative and just be you. See ya.